He's a great Kansas City, and he's a friend of the show, and he's got a new book out. Jack Cashill is on KCMO Talk Radio. The book is out, titled Ashli, The Untold Story of the Women of January 6th. He's joining us on KCMO. And, Jack, before we get into it, someone on the text line just reminded me it was just over a year ago that you and I were on that reparations panel together. Can you believe it's been a year?
Yeah, I can. It's been an eventful year, actually, and that was an amusing panel, Pete.
That's right. We had the civility bell breaking out. Thank you very much for that, Mark. All right, let's get to your book, Jack. I want to ask you something just out of the gates here that I have struggled with, and I admit what I'm about to say is not going to be popular with a portion of the audience, but I'm happy to hear you refute it. My trouble with Ashli Babbitt has always been this. When we see people and we talk about people around the country who get shot by police, whether it is completely legitimate or there's some gray area there, usually we say, you know what? People put themselves in stupid positions and sometimes they win stupid prizes. I oftentimes have found myself coming to that conclusion with Ashli Babbitt. Did she deserve to be killed for stepping through that window at the Capitol? No. But when you sometimes do stupid things, things can get out of hand in chaotic situations. We talk about it in urban cores with policing all the time. Please explain to me, because I respect your opinion, on why this is different.
Well, Pete, I get your point, because my father is a cop, and I often find myself defending police, like Eric the Vulcaneer here in Kansas City, or even Derek Chauvin in Minneapolis, a guy who got really railroaded. But in this case, I think I have to come to Ashli's defense. And what happened was this, and this is what's not well understood. When she entered this corridor, the leading up to the speaker's lobby, which was guarded by 3 police officers, she was alone. And then she was being followed by a single videographer, just happened to be there. And she comes up to the officers. She starts joking with them because she spent 14 years in the Air Force as a military policeman. She identified with these people. And then a big crowd surged in behind her. And some of these people were bad actors. And then Ashli starts, and these 3 guys are standing there doing nothing. And Ashli yells at the cop. She goes, do your effing job. Call for effing backup. This is getting crazy, right? So she starts getting pushed in between the cops and the crowd. And then the 3 officers just walk away and leave the doors unguarded. At which point, this one career criminal grabs a helmet and starts breaking out a window. And then he breaks out the window. Now the crowd is surging around her. She's 5'2" and 110 pounds. And then someone yells, "There's a gun." And she jumps into that window frame, I think to escape the gun that she thought was behind her. And that's when she just appears in a window frame, and the cop, without even checking, asking her to stop, identifying himself or anything, he's a Capitol police officer, untrained. He's in him way over his head. He just shoots and kills her with 1 bullet. So, yeah, should she have been in the Capitol? Probably not, but she didn't break in. Mm-hmm. She was there, an hour or so after the first doors were open. She wandered around by herself, didn't break anything, didn't hurt anyone. And it's a long, complicated story. Yeah. That's why I wanted to tell it. Yeah. So.
Well, tell me, I know it's not just about her, of course. It's about the untold story of the women around this day. What are the themes within this book, Ashli, and it's Ashli with an I, that people will learn when they do some of this digging and reporting that you have done that, frankly, nobody else in the country has done?
Yeah, one thing that I think startled me is that, Ashli stayed to the end of the Donald Trump speech. He started an hour late, and he didn't end until 1:12. Ray Epps and his crew, the large provocateur who's, was actually part of something larger, they started breaching the police lines at 12:53, 20 minutes before Trump finishes his speech. All of the action took place while Trump was still speaking. These people were not Trump people. They were there. They were provocatory. Some of them may have been, MAGA people. Some of them were obviously not MAGA people. But all of the action occurred. When Ashli arrives at the Capitol, all the doors are wide open. People are walking around, taking selfies. There's no violence or vandalism inside the Capitol, almost none. And the MAGA people are pro-police. You see them telling people, hey, don't act stupid, behave yourself, be nice to the cops. So it came as a shock. And for all of the other women, what I did is I expanded it to cover 10 women to get a fuller picture of why these people came. Every single one of them was an upfront COVID dissenter, almost from day one, including Ashli. She called it the controller virus. Independently, from all over the country, these women were objecting strenuously to the impositions by the government as to their freedom of their movement and their right to their own health care. They came, I think, for legitimate reasons. I think we all should have come. The riot got out of hand, but it was not started by them. They all arrived to it started, walk into an open building, and then they find out that they're being arrested, sent to prison. Of the 10 women I cover, Pete, 2 were killed that day. The other was Roseanne Boylan. 8 of the other 8, 6 were arrested, 6 were imprisoned, and 2 are awaiting sentencing. One of those 2 is the great-grandmother who drove by herself from Colorado Springs to pray. All of them had their lives ruined. We're talking 1,500 people had their lives ruined. 500 of them are in prison. Some of them still in prison waiting trial. It is probably the single greatest miscarriage of justice on a mass scale since Japanese internment. It's really that bad when you look at it and when you get behind the figures.
Jack Cashill, everyone knows him well, local author. His book was just released, Ashli, The Untold Story of the Women of January 6 on KCMO Talk Radio. Jack, you mentioned there how some of the lives have been ruined, and, to tie it back to some of what we were talking about earlier, people may have done things that were wrong that they regret, but then, of course, how is the rule of law applied here in Kansas City? Don't forget, after the summer of 2020 riots, the Kansas City, Missouri City Council went over the rule of law and dropped charges against people involved in the riots here in Kansas City. I'll never forget that when that happened in this town. And while I'm not defending anybody who broke the law on January 6th, it does seem like there are different standards of justice based on what you are protesting. And is that a big part of this book?
Absolutely, Pete, and that's a great point. For instance, the Brett Kavanaugh protesters, the ones who disrupted an official proceeding, which is a charge the J6ers are hit with. They forced Mike Pence to stop the hearing several times. Several hundred were arrested over a 2 or 3 day period. Their punishment, $30 to $50 fines, right? Meanwhile, these people are getting, 6, 8, 10, 20 years in prison. Of the 8 women, of the 10 women, the worst crime any of them committed was to help break a window. This is a mother of 8 with 4 small children at home, now serving a 57-month prison sentence. By contrast, for instance, one of the women, the female attorney who firebombed a police car, destroying it in New York City, 15 months in prison. 15 months for firebombing a police car, 57 months for breaking a window. It's out of control. It is Stalinist, and none of these people was allowed to change a venue. Every single person who went before a jury was convicted. And
wow.
I went to one of the trials, and you watch it, and you feel like you're back in Moscow in 1936. And I wish I were exaggerating, but I'm not.
That's amazing. Jack, I know you're going to be doing an event tonight here in town. Where are you going to be? What time? How can people come out and see you and find out more about the book?
Yeah, it's tomorrow night, actually.
Oh, tomorrow.
It's Wednesday, June 12th. It'll be at Tanner's, which is in Redbridge Shopping Center on Holmes. Anytime after 6 o'clock, it's open to the public. You can eat and drink there if you like, and I'll have books. So if you're interested in a longer retelling of this story, come on out to Tanner's. It's Wednesday, June 12th at 6 p.m.
Tomorrow.
Yeah.
Tomorrow at Tanner's on Redbridge. Yeah. Sorry, go ahead there, Jack.
No, I was just going to say I appreciate you having me on. And this is a story that, Trump is talking about it now, which is interesting because the Republicans have shied away from it. Mm-hmm. Personally, I think it should be a Republican issue at this point. Not so much the riot, the riot itself, but rather the overreaction to it, which was of which Trump's own arrest and conviction was part of the same process.
Mm-hmm.
And so was Eric the Vulcaneers. I mean, so was Derek Chauvin's. You know, we do have a two-tier justice system, and I think it should be the number one issue in the election.
Yeah, it's indisputable. Jack Cashill, local author, does outstanding work. His latest book, Ashli, find it on Amazon or wherever you get your books. Jack, good stuff, and enjoy tomorrow night out at Tanner's at the Red Bridge Shopping Center. We appreciate the time.
Hey, Pete, I appreciate you having me on. Thanks a lot.
Overall, good guy, Jack Cashill on 95.7 FM